Well, thank you very much to BioUtah and to RAPS. This is a great opportunity to talk about our program that we've been developing at the Department of Biomedical Engineering for a while, that's focused on teaching students the basics of regulatory affairs. Next slide, please. Usually, this should be the last slide, but I hate to run out of time before having an opportunity to thank everybody who contributed over the years to our program. We've got great help in developing the curriculum from Utah biomedical industry. Here are the companies that help us along the way: professional organization, RAPS and BioUtah. The department at the university was very helpful, other departments as well, and we started with basically collaboration with the FDA, Office of Regulatory Science and Education, CDRH and CDER. Next slide, please. A little bit about the Biomedical Engineering Department. We're the third Biomedical Engineering Department in the United States. Started in 1974, and right now we're 15th largest. We have about 100 auxiliary faculty, 23, 25 regular faculty, and we train 300 undergraduate students and about 150, 125, 150 graduate students, and we graduate about 50 undergraduate each year. Next slide, please. Here is a little summary, graphical summary. Next slide. I want to spend some time on program-related issue. The reason for the program, for starting the program, was to respond to a statewide need for engineers, biomedical engineers with their basic degrees, bachelor's, master's, and PhDs, who have at least some exposure to regulatory affairs. In biomedical industry, I don't think I have to convince you that regardless whether the graduates enter the regulatory specialty or not, their basic regulatory knowledge is essentially a prerequisite to their careers. Next slide, please. So our vision was, where we started, was to develop a recognized program that will provide biomedical engineers, pharmacy students, biological or life science students with basic knowledge and skills required for their careers in both biomedical, pharmaceutical, biotechnology field. And to do that, we decided that first of all, we need to start with developing basic courses and then developing certificates and maybe advanced degrees. Next slide, please. Here's a short history. We started around 2012, 2014 with a lot of discussions, then with some training at the FDA. John Skousen is here. He started the program with me and he taught for several years. The effect of that was 2 courses. I will talk in detail in a few minutes about those, and 2 certificates in regulatory affairs, graduate and undergraduate certificate. And in the future, next year, we are expecting to have a regulatory affairs minor for BME students, and in next year, Master of Science in Regulatory Sciences. Next slide, please. The basis of our program is the RAPS Regulatory Competency Framework. That summarizes, we are addressing the level 1 and level 2 skills. Level 3 and level 4 are beyond our reach because they require much more advanced practice and experience. But we're trying, in the bottom of that slide, you can see the major areas: product development, registration, regulatory framework and strategy, post-approval, post-market activities, then of course leadership and ethics. In the middle section of the slide here are the major areas that our program addresses. So first of all, basics of regulations. We have two one-semester classes in regulatory affairs. The first class teaches students combination products. The reason for addressing combination products in the first semester is that this gives us an opportunity to talk about medical device regulations, drug regulations, biologic regulations, wrapping it up into combination product regulations. And we mostly address the US regulations with a little touch-up on European regulations and quality. If we just talk about regulations, I mean, the previous, I was really happy to hear the previous session and the previous talk because I totally agree. Without practice, if we just lecture students about regulations, that will be in 1 year, out another. Our approach is through team projects. So essentially, we divide class into a number of teams, and each team gets a project assigned, regulatory type of project assigned, and we teach them how to prepare the basis of regulatory submissions. So we address risk management, we talked about biostatistics, bioethics, clinical, preclinical studies, standards and quality systems, and the regulatory submissions they prepare, they essentially end up with preparing a QSAP. Why the QSAP? It's the first step, and we feel that it addresses pretty much basic elements that are required for more advanced submissions, IDEs, 510Ks, etc. In the second semester, we focus on greater detail of risk management, clinical studies management, and EU MDR regulations. Next slide, please. This shows the map of what actually is happening at the department. We grant bachelor's, master's, PhD degrees, and this year we'll be granting undergraduate and graduate certificates in regulatory affairs. These certificates require both the regulatory courses, which are listed on the right side of the slide, which is combination products and US and international regulations and clinical studies, and 2 design courses. Both are given on the undergrad and graduate level that focus on training students in design control. So basically, we have them follow 820.30, and students developed actual prototype all the way through the verification testing, working within the confines of the design, FDA design controls. So we have SOPs, we have templates, they follow the quality system and actually have to write documents and implement what the regulations require. Next slide, please. The certificates. The undergraduate certificate requires 20 credit hours, the graduate 15 credit hours, and here's our courses required are divided into core courses and elective courses. And here you have the list. I already talked about it, so I'm not going to read it back to you. Next slide, please. Admission requirements. If students are matriculated into the university and are BME major, they just need to take the required number of and type of courses. Non-matriculated students can get the graduate certificate, and they just have to follow the regular, normal university admission to non-matriculated studies requirements. Both regulatory courses that we teach are available through continuing divisions of continuing education. So students can take it after hours. Okay, next slide, please. Here's a snapshot of our enrollment. And as you can see, over the years, enrollment was steadily increasing, and we think that that will continue. Next slide, please. What's in the future? Well, Regulatory Affairs minor, which we hope will happen next year, and Master of Science in Regulatory Science. And I want to stress that we couldn't have done it with collaboration with the industry, with professional organizations, so we appeal for more collaboration in the future. And I think I'm out of time, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Tomasz. I think the program is really fantastic. We're really excited to have it.
Thank you.
I'd like to welcome up Ann Bracken for just a second to give a quick tidbit on the Weber State program as well. I think it might be possible to see these as conflicting programs, but I don't see them that way. I think they're very complementary. If you look at the way the University of Utah has deployed what they're doing, they're looking at undergrad students and grad students who are currently in school. And then if you look at what Weber State's doing, they're also looking at those who are currently professionals, how to build up their work. So I'd like Ann to give you that opportunity.
Is it on? Nope.
This one works.
There we go. And I found out I was doing this 10 seconds before I walked in the room. Okay, so please excuse me. The Weber State program is also a certification. We are not doing necessarily a master's program, but a regulatory affairs certificate. I am an adjunct professor for pharmaceutical regulatories. And it is, and I'm sorry, I'm going to have to read it because I'm not prepared. It's structured to be a 2-semester coursework. So the first half of each semester you'll do 2 courses, and then 2 courses, and then the second semester 2 and 2, for a total of 24 credit hours. It is 100% online. It's any time of day that you can actually do the coursework. That is when you're welcome to join in. And, sorry. You can go on to do a 3rd semester to have an internship. And so that if you want to be able to add that to your resume. But mostly you can get it done in 2 semesters. And I was afraid that's all the information I have.
It's just great. Thank you both. I think it's exciting to see our life science environment growing in this way, to have these educational offerings. And I had to go outside of the state for my own, so to have them available here is a big deal. So thank you.